Hello, everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Michael. This is the introduction to a developer tool that I developed called Sequencer. Sequencer is a visual AI agent workflow orchestrator, or prompt to agent workflow automator, if you'd like to think of it like that. I built this. If you think about this, I like to use local models for development, but local models are not as cutting edge as the state of the art frontier models that are created by OpenAI and Anthropic and X and so on. And Google. Sorry, I didn't mean to purposely leave them out for any reason. But anyways, the so I have to because I'm using local models, I have to scale up my prompts, so to speak. So my prompts are more descriptive, but they're describing something more specific. So, for example, if I need to build a database for my application, I have to explicitly say it, build the database for this application, and then I have to build the components that connect to that database in previous either previous prompts or prompts that are posted after that. So I was doing a lot of copying and pasting from a chat window from a LM Studio chat window to build my applications. I realized that could be automated, so I developed Sequencer. Okay, so this video is a tutorial. It's going to teach you what Sequencer is, and how it works, and then how to use Sequencer. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create a working directory. So let's go here, new folder, and we'll call this demo. Oh, get out of here. Rename that. Demo. There you go. And then we'll open up a terminal pointing to that directory. We'll say code. We'll create an instance of VS Code here pointing at it. And we're going to first make sure we'll clean all this up here, and then we are going to go back to this section here. We'll keep this open. Go back here. And we're sorry, I forgot to tell you that we are cloning the repository. That's the first step. Second step is to install the dependencies with this command npm install. Third step is to create a .env file. So we actually have a .env file here. We're just going to, whoa. What did I click on? We're just going to rename it. That's why I was so close to delete. There we go. So we just renamed .env.example to .env. There it goes. Okay. And the next step is to start the server with npm start. I'm just going to copy and paste it. Okay, we will go to this link. This is a Node application, by the way. So here we are. This is the front page. You'll be greeted with projects. And then this is where you're allowed to create a new project. This is pipeline, so you can create pipelines for your project in the pipelines page. This becomes more interactive when you add a project. Requirements allows you to interact with an AI. When you are building an application, you have a lot of requirements. You can build the requirements in this chat log here, and then you can click add to pipeline without copying and pasting from the chat window. So it kind of speeds things up. The next page is logs and settings. This is where all the logs are recorded. So at its core, Sequencer is a proxy server. It's listening in between two endpoints, and it's logging every step in between those two endpoints in a log file. So Sequencer is reading those log files and listening for these flags that are produced by agents. So agents will usually say something like, "Hey, I'm done with my task." And that's our cue to start the next task. So that's how sequencer works. So yeah, these log files will be generated here. You can read them. There's a configuration page here. So before we start, you need to point this to localhost. Excuse me, you need to point this to LM Studio. That's what we'll be using on the back end. Because I'm using LM Studio, I can just put whatever I want here. For this, we're going to select Qwen 3.6 35B A3B. And this has nothing to do with the agent that we're going to be using. We're going to be using Cline. If you want to use Cline, you have to set it up another way. I'm going to show you in a minute. But if you're using Aider, or if you're using the requirements page, it will point and use this model. So whatever you put here, this is a OpenAI endpoint, by the way. So if you have an OpenAI key, you can use your endpoints in here and it should work. All right, so we'll save those settings. You'll notice that we have a Telegram page. You can put your bot token in here and your chat ID. So that way, if you'd like to message yourself in between each step, where the development is for your application, you would know. And you can be, at the beach or at a restaurant or grocery shopping, and you can receive Telegram messages about the state of your app if you use Telegram. Okay, so now we're going to create a project. So first we're going to create the working directory. We're going to go here because you'll see the next step. So we'll create another dir, and dir, and we'll call it hello world. Okay, now we're going to change directory into hello world, and we're going to create another instance of VS Code here. We'll put it like smaller, and we'll make it smaller so we can click on it. So here we go. Okay, so we have the working directory here. We can just grab it. You don't have to grab it like the way I did it, but I'm just doing it because I like doing it this way. So we're going to paste it into here, and we're going to call it hello world. Okay, create project. All right. So here you can see we have our project created. We're allowed to run our pipeline from here if you'd like, but I'm going to show you from this page. Click on Hello World and then go to pipeline. So now you can see there's buttons that you can interact with on this page. I'm going to add prompts to this page. And let's just double check real quick. So, oh yeah, that's right. So once you decided that you want to use Cline, you need to set the model through this window right here. We're going to be using the same model that you saw up there. Oh, nope. As you can see, we are using the 27B in this window. I don't want to use that one. I want to use A3B. If you are a local llama enthusiast, you will know these models very well. These are great models. So yeah, that's what we'll be using today. Yeah. So that's how you change the model. That's how you change the model for Cline. You can see right now we're selecting Aider, but we'll change that in a minute. So first step, create index.html that says hello world. Next step, create CSS file for index.html that makes it look cool. Okay. And then the third step is create JavaScript file that makes it rain confetti from the top of the page to when world is clicked on in the index.html page. Okay, so you can see the start sequence is unclickable. We're going to add. Oh, whoops! One more step. I'm not going to use Aider in this case, in this example. I'm going to use Klein. So we're going to switch our agent to Klein. But if you'd like, you can turn this to Aider, and it will be like Klein, Aider, Klein, or you can even in the future change this to OpenClaw, and then that could be your agent of choice. The next steps for these projects is to add services to those agents, every type of agent, so that we could do more. We can be more capable. We can set more capable task in a stream, so to speak. So here's we're selecting Klein, where they are now queued in the sequence. So we are going to start sequence. And you can see this is kind of a misleading text here. You can see that this one says that it's running. It's actually not. This one is running. So the first one runs. After the first one is complete, the second one runs, and so on. And it just keeps going down the line, one after the other after the other. So you can see the first task is already done. So we'll go to Visual Studio Code. We'll click on the directory, and we can see it right here. It's now writing those files into our working directory. Here's the CSS is coming in. So what else is going on here? So I think the only thing left to do is to just wait for these tasks to finish. And you can see that we're using a faster model, so it shouldn't take too long. Yeah, but so this application, you can see it's very simple, right? It doesn't need 3 prompts to create a document like that, So what we could do is instruct it to make databases, or schemas for databases, and components of front ends, one after the other, rather than just giving this whole giant prompt, or this AI prompt, and expect it to build the whole thing in one step, which that might be something in the future. But even if it is something in the future, why not put it in a sequence like this anyways? So the idea, another idea, or another benefit for using sequencer, in my opinion, is that you're not using compaction. When you're making a whole application, you are restarting the context for every single step, and therefore you are getting the best part of the AI. You are accessing the AI. There's tons of studies that show that at the beginning of a conversation, that's when an LLM is at its smartest. It's at its finest. It's the fastest. Its focus is better at the start of a conversation. So every single time I'm creating a step, the context gets a reset. And there's a double-edged sword to that, though. Or there's another side. Wait, hold on. Anyways, whatever. There's probably insert idiom that's related to that here. The flip side to that is that you need to be more specific with your prompts. So if I'm building a full stack web application, I need to reference files within the next prompt. So for example, if I build a database, let's say I'm using a Prisma schema. If I write a Prisma schema, I need to rather than just being vague in the next step, saying like add another table to this application, I have to specifically say add another table to the Prisma document, and that's it. So you have to be like that throughout the entire length of the application, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. It just needs a little time. You just need a little more time and practice to do that, in my opinion. But all right, so it looks like the app is finished. So let's open it and see what it looks like. I call it an app. It's literally just an index die smell. Here it is. Look how cool it looks, right? Just like how I ordered. So let's click on this button. Oh, look at all that confetti. Whoa, it's almost too much confetti. Oh, now it's gone. All right, well, that's okay, right? We can change that later on. But the idea still stands. Like, I didn't have to wait behind a desk to build this application. I could have gone out and done something, or I could have been working on another task, or better yet, I could have like 3 more instances of sequencer running at the same time. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, comment, and share if you enjoy this content. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.